Invincible Season 2 recently wrapped up. The second season of the Invincible series from Amazon Prime. After the first season, everyone was looking forward to the second season, myself included, to see what was really going to happen, how they were going to continue the story, and so forth. Now, the question remains, however, did it flop or did it fly? Was it as good as season 1? Was there good cliffhangers? Did it make sense? Did things happen? All of that. So I'm going to give a brief review of season 2 of Invincible. I'm not going to go episode by episode. I'm just going to go over most of the major points. There will be some spoilers here, not only for anybody who hasn't seen this season, but there may be some spoilers going forward as what to come, because I did read some of the Invincible comic series, so there is that. Now, let's get into it without further ado. The season starts off with Invincible still reeling from what happened with his father last time, because when Omni-Man basically betrayed the Earth, murdered a bunch of people in Chicago, beat Mark within an inch of his life, talked about how Debbie was basically like a pet to him, and then he ended up leaving Earth. There is still that hanging on Invincible, because now he is wondering whether or not he actually, lives up to what has to be done. Is he like his father? Can he do differently? So he's just flying around kind of aimlessly, trying to do whatever he has to do. He's stopping crimes, he's doing things, but he could still feel that sense of foreboding all over him. And it's not just with him. His mother is also feeling it as well. She struggles to go back to work, struggles to try and cope with herself, because this man who she had been married to for like 20-something years turns out to just betray everything, murder people, all this stuff. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening, and she's really in some distress to what's going on. Mark also has to deal with college that he's going to now, because he ended up graduating from high school. He's going to college now, dealing with the superhero life. He wants to go back out and work and help people, and he tells Cecil that he will be willing to work for him, and all of this stuff, and all of this goes on. Now, in the very first episode, we get introduced to a man named Angstrom Levy, who apparently has the ability to open portals into different dimensions. Now, the prime version of Angstrom Levy from the prime universe that Invincible is in, he wants to gather all his different multiversal variants, and he enlists the Mauler twins to help him build a machine that will take all their knowledge and, all his variants' knowledge, and put it into his mind, so that in the event that, so basically they could advance Earth's technology, create new things, cure diseases, help people, all these different things he wants to do. So he gets multiversal variants of the Maulers, and he has them then build this machine and try to do it. Invincible shows up, and he's not sure what's going on, but the Maulers attack him. He's had to fight back. And the thing about it is that the different versions, different multiversal versions of Angstrom Levy that the Prime Universe one collected, they all hate Invincible, because in their universes, Invincible is just as bad, if not worse, than his father, and he's done some pretty horrible things. So the Maulers are literally beating Invincible to death, and Angstrom now doesn't want his new world built on blood and stuff, so he prematurely stops the mind transfer, which causes the machine to explode. So when the machine explodes now, Invincible survives. One of the Mauler twins gets badly scarred. He survives. And Angstrom Levy survives, but he's horribly disfigured. And the thing is, all the different variants of him, all their knowledge ended up in his mind. So now he got all their hatred for Invincible, and he wants revenge as well. He's kind of a really, I should say, he's kind of I wouldn't say pathetic, but kind of sympathetic villain. He wanted to do something good and ended up like this because of, bad situations. Now, as things go on, Mark is in in college trying to do whatever he can. The Immortal comes back and he takes over the Guardians of the Globe, and they're trying to see what they could get done as well. It's a thing. Now, one thing I'm going to tell people straight off the bat. The one thing in this season 2 that absolutely put it over the top for me, that absolutely cements it, in my opinion, is Amber. Because Amber is like a completely different person. We all remember that. We all remember that bitch from season 1. But we all remember it. We all remember that. But in this season, she is a completely different person. This is the way they should have done Amber to begin with. She and Mark are together. You understand me? Yeah, she and Mark hook up. Okay, good for him, no problem. But the thing is that she's more understanding now. Before she was like this raging psycho bitch who had a problem with, he ran off, he did something, even though she knew he was invincible, and her whole anger told it made absolutely no sense. But this time around, she understands. When Mark has to go off to save people to do something, yeah, it's lonely, it's problematic and stuff, they're in the middle of a date and he suddenly has to run off. Okay, but she understands what he's doing, that he's trying to save lives, that he's trying to be as good as possible to get things done, to help people. And she understands that and is supportive. And I'm telling you, that alone put this entire season over the top for me. That alone. Because had they had her like this in season 1, even better. She started off as an interesting character in season 1, and then just like by the middle, just became a raging pain in the ass, and then at the end, she was a gigantic bitch. But this time around, none of that. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, as I say, everybody struggles with their own things in this season. Donald finds out that, he's died multiple times and had his brain put into a robotic body. Eve kind of walks away from the superhero life for a while, but then she comes back, then she stumbles and falls again. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. After the Atom, Eve's special, and even now, Eve's parents are the worst. Like, literally the worst. They are absolutely horrible people. That's the only way to put it. It's horrible. You also have Rex and what he went through when they went to do some, when they went to fight something. Basically, the duplicate kind of got killed. Everybody thought she was dead, but she wasn't. She still had a variant, like she's multiplied, but all of that. Okay, Shrinking Ray ended up jumping down some guys for some lizard thing throat, and then tried to expand herself and basically broke all the bones in her body. Rex got his hand ripped off and then got shot in the head, but still came back to life and, killed the leader of the Lizard League and stuff. So, but he was struggling as well. Everybody's kind of struggling, but they all making steps towards overcoming. Even Debbie, she tries to join this superhero support group, but when the the widower of one of the original guardians of the globe that Omni-Man killed, finds out. He basically berates her and tells her not to come back. So she's struggling on her own, trying to see what she could do. We also get to find out more about Alan the alien and you know his his past, how he came to be, what happened, you know, how he's the strongest Unopan, and all this sort of stuff. And the thing about it is that as it goes along in Invincible, this is to come, Alan does become one of the strongest beings in the universe. I mean, he gets strong enough at a point in time to actually beat the shit out of Omni-Man. So, like I said, spoilers here, but it does happen. You understand me? So it is something that needs to be happening. Okay, we also get to see what happens with Omni-Man after he leaves Earth. He basically just drifts through space, you know, just going about it. He even contemplates suicide in a black hole, but he sees this Thraxan ship about to be destroyed by it, and then he saves the ship, and they make him their leader, and all of this. And when Mark is on Earth with doing what he has to do, this Thraxan shows up and tells him that, you know, he needs him to come to his planet because they're in danger. He goes there, and when he goes to the planet, who does he meet? Omni-Man. And Omni-Man is now the new leader of the Thraxan planet, and he has a new wife named Andressa, and they have a child. And you know, I mean, Mark is pissed, and rightfully so, because of what happened and all of this stuff. It is problematic, and this it is troubling. But the reason why Omni-Man called him there is because some Viltrumites are coming. 3 Viltrumites are coming, and he needs Mark help to save them, because when the Viltrumites come, they have to just kill the Thraxans. Now, Thraxans don't live very long. They don't live long at all. They live like a couple months tops. That's the entire lifespan. But because of Omni-Man's, genetics, Mark's new brother will age faster than humans, but he will live longer than Thraxans. So when the Viltrumites show up, they start to kill off the Thraxans and all kind of thing. Omni-Man and Mark fight them off. Omni-Man tells Mark that, he has to fight like a Viltrumite and stop holding back. They end up defeating a couple of them, but then Omni-Man gets his back literally broken, and then the Viltrumite commander Craig tells Mark that he needs to prepare the Earth for what's going to happen and all of this nonsense. Mark has been on Thraxan Traxa actually for 2 months, helping them rebuild after what happened. But then his brother's mother, Andressa, tells him that she needs Mark to take his brother back to Earth because she's already really old. Because like I said, Thraxans don't live very long. So he takes him back to Earth. Debbie finds out and all of this and stuff. But the child is pretty much innocent. It's nothing like he said that he has been doing anything wrong. So she decides to actually raise the boy, names him Oliver, and they're actually enjoying themselves, and it's not too terrible. You understand me? We also see Mark's friend, get what his name was, but something, but he and this guy that he like the guy was turned into this reaniman by this crazy professor and things, so he's having problems. He even considers suicide at one point, but luckily he comes and this guy Donald comes and talks to him and gets him to the stuff. All of this is happening. Now, while this is going on, you could tell that Eve and Mark when they get reunited to do some things involving these Martians and all this nonsense that happen, you can see that there's still kind of a spark between them there, but nothing is really happening. Meanwhile, Mark and Amber's relationship is getting a little strained because, I mean, I could actually understand this point. I could really understand this point because Mark as Invincible is usually gone for long periods of time. It's not to say like, he's gone for a day or two and back. Sometimes it's months. And he's always got to go and things always happening and she has to deal with that and stuff. But he tries to make an effort to really say, let him actually be there for her. They try to have a date and all this happens, all this stuff. They go flying. It's very, very romantic and all that stuff. No problem. And when they're sitting down for dinner, lo and behold, who shows up? The Viltrumite everyone hates, Anissa. She literally shows up at the place where they were having dinner, calls out Mark for being invincible and everything, puts her hand around Amber's neck and threatens to kill her instantly if he doesn't have a talk with her. It's really terrifying and all of this. So he agrees to talk with her and stuff and things. She leaves. They have a little breakdown there. She talks to him and he tells her that he has to go and all of this. Okay, so let me just make this very clear off the bat. Spoiler coming up here if anybody didn't know. No, Anissa did not rape him. Yet. Okay, she did not rape Invincible yet. It does happen, we know that. It does happen. But it didn't happen this time. Alright? She shows up there and she gives Invincible the same Viltrumite pitch. Oh, Earth is being destroyed by the people. Viltrumites could save it. Viltrumites don't kill for pleasure, even though some of them do take pleasure in killing. That's not why they're doing it. They're strong and superior. Once they rule this planet, they will make it peaceful. Yada, 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 yada crap. Right? Yada, yada, nonsense, all yada. So, when Mark goes to save this ocean liner from a behemoth, he tries attacking it and all this stuff. Doesn't really work. So Anissa just instantly flies right through the thing and kills it. And then automatically just flexes and gets all the blood off of her. She tells Invincible that he needs to join her. He refuses. She starts to beat the shit out of him. When he refuses to say the words, she decides not to kill him because that's not her job. So she ends up leaving the planet and goes back to wherever she has to go back to. She informs General Krieg of what happens, and then the ship is flying there and it encounters Alan, who she goes outside to fight. He punches her and draws blood, so she wants to take him to the prison. He pretends to get knocked out and gone. Okay. Now here's the interesting part, and I will say that the way this was handled, but there's actually a lot of people, the way this was handled in this series was actually handled better than it was in the comics, and I will explain. When Mark comes back to Amber and they start to talk, she tells him because like I said, this is a completely different Amber. She tells him that she was terrified, but she can't live like this. She can't do that because she understands that he's out there saving people. Her life does matter, but it would be selfish of her to try and stop him from doing these things. And she does care about him, but she doesn't see how this could actually continue to go. And they end up breaking up, but it's an understandable breakup. It is painful for the two of them, but it's done in such a manner that it's understandable. Not like that, not like how they did it in the comics where they kind of just had to drift apart, and then it was just like, okay, they're done, bam, bam, and that was it. No, this one actually had some more emotional impact to it. Okay, that was that. When Mark is there thinking about it, he gets a phone call from his mother. When he picks up the phone, it's actually Angstrom Levy who's holding Debbie and Oliver hostage. So Mark goes there and they have a back and forth. He doesn't know what's going on. And then Angstrom Levy starts sending Mark through different dimensions to make him suffer and all this sort of stuff. He ends up in this dimension with somebody with Spider-Man, but in a different costume. Yeah, that's apparently they couldn't get the rights for it because in the comics it was supposed to be that he ends up meeting Spider-Man, meets the Avengers, all this kind of thing. That didn't happen this time around. Yes, meets Spider-Man, but in a different costume. Okay. He even ends up in a reality talking with Batman. You don't get to see Batman see the cape flapping, and he's telling Batman that you're a man and you dress like a bat, and your name isn't that a little lazy? I mean, you shouldn't be one to talk because you're called invincible and you get beaten half to death every day. So how are you invincible? But, and then he even sends Mark to a dimension with zombies, all that kind of stuff. And the thing about it is that even Debbie points out this fact, Angstrom Levy chose the one reality where Mark is good. Because in all the other different realities, Invincible, like I said, is evil. But Mark came, but you see, in this prime universe, Mark is good. He didn't side with his father, anything like that. But Angstrom Levy chose this reality to go after this Invincible. Because the problem with him is that in this reality, Invincible is good. And he doesn't like the fact that he's good. So he wants to turn him into the villain. But he's made himself the villain in the process. And Debbie reveals that to him. And he's damn pissed about it. He even ended up breaking her arm. And I mean literally breaking her arm. And no kind of jokey thing. Really just snapped it. You see the bone and everything. It's pretty damn distressful. But again, his whole thing is that he wants to cause Mark pain. Because like I said, he has all these different reality versions of himself and memories of what Invincible did to him. There's even one he saw where in a different reality, Angstrom Levy had a son. Invincible showed up and killed the boy in front of him. You understand me? There's another one where Angstrom Levy is a police officer. They're trying to stop Invincible shooting at him, and he kills every officer there except him, because for some reason in these different realities he likes to let Angstrom Levy suffer for some reason or something, or maybe he gets away. I don't know. Now, when Angstrom Levy breaks Debbie's arm and beats her and thing, Mark ends up coming because that Mark keeps getting sucked through different dimensions and things. So when he comes back and he sees it, he flies into a rage. He attacks Angstrom Levy. He starts battling across different dimensions, and then Angstrom Levy tells him, he went to different dimensions to get help. They rebuilt his body and they made him strong. After he started to hit him back. But when Invincible gets vexed and starts to actually really attack him, he literally beats him to death. I mean, like literally. And my God, that man had a lot of blood, boy. Oh, Father. He beats him to death. And then he ends up realizing that, he's stranded in this desolate dimension. Now, when he does kill him, that's a pretty massive thing for Mark. He keeps trying to convince himself that, he had no choice, because that's kind of the step into what's going to happen to him. It's a problem, he killing him was kind of the first step. So he realizes that, he's stuck there, doesn't know what to do. Then a portal opens up and some future versions of the Guardians of the Globe show up, and they tell him that they come from a timeline where Mark has been missing for 20 years, and they now got the ability to come and find him, and that he was thankful. He didn't know how he was going to survive and all of this stuff. I think that's the dimension where he became a cannibal, if I'm not mistaken, but whatever. So when they're there, right before they send him back, future Eve tells him that, she loves him and that she's always loved him, and that, he shouldn't wait and he should say something about what's going on and all of this. Okay. So he goes back. Debbie is in the hospital, stuff. They rebuild her house. Oliver is safe. All of this stuff is happening. Okay, no problem. Mark decides that he's going to leave college because he has to deal with his own anger and all of a sudden, he can't continue to realistically be a superhero and in college. Because like I said, he's gone for months at periods at time. In the Viltrumite prison, Omni-Man is getting beaten up by Craig, who then says to take him back to his cell. While he's going there, he sees Alan, who tells him that he met Mark and he wants him to join him. And then Nolan is there and he says that he starts he's not he thinks himself that he's not really a Viltrumite anymore because he feels pain and regret for what he's done. He shouldn't feel that all the people that he killed on Earth, he feels terrible about it. He feels sick to his stomach. He feels terrible for what he did to his son. And then he says at the end, he misses his wife. That's kind of the start of it. So yeah, that was pretty much what happened in season 2. Now, every time with the Invincible symbol, it keeps cracking off pieces of it to reveal a blue Invincible symbol. Now, the reason why that is significant is that the next suit that Mark gets is a blue Invincible suit, and many believe that suit is kind of cursed because everything that could go wrong went wrong when he had that suit on. He got sexually assaulted. There was the Invincible War. There was the Viltrumite. All these other things happen. I don't want to give away too many things, but a lot of stuff happens with that blue suit. So it's really thick. Also, side note, I saw a lot of people online say that, Prime Invincible could beat Superman. No. It's not even a contest. And by Prime Invincible, I mean Invincible when he's at his strongest and he's the most powerful Viltrumite kind of thing. No. Even then, no. No way in hell. That ain't gonna happen. So, I will say that I did enjoy season 2. I think, again, I must say what they did with Amber, absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. That is a complete 180 for a character's personality. Really well done. The fact that everybody had to work through their own issues in this was actually really good. We got tidbits of everybody's emotional state about what needs to happen and all of this stuff. Angstrom Levy is still kind of pathetic villain, but you also kind of understand what happened with the man or what kind of turned him into that, but still you don't really have sympathy after he broke Debbie's arm and actually tried to kill Olive. I mean, when you want to murder babies, that's kind of crossing the line, Invincible and the things he had to deal with was really something to actually have to go through and see what was really happening. So my final rating for Invincible season 2, I will give this a 4.2 out of 5. I recommend people to watch it. I think it follows up the first season really well. And the fact that they've announced that they want to do a new season of it every year, actually really good. So as long as they keep along this track, it might actually work out for the best. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.